Okay, my name is Latoya Wall. Through social media, Queenie Marie. Um, I live in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, and I met Tom Watts through a few community experiences. You know, peace rallies and whatnot in the Lehigh Valley. This was years ago. So there were things that I would do in the community to help out, clean up the streets. There was a young man with the last name Rivera that worked under Tom Watts. And I also met him as well. Throughout certain situations in the community, we would all gather around, we would do candlelight vigils, walks for certain purposes for our own community. I was presented a chance to be a part and to be a comrade, and to go on a trip to Tom's house to get a better understanding of the situation. And I did that. I took my son, we went to Bear Mountain. Tom taught us a lot about the Black Panther Party and its movement from the very beginning and things like that as a group. But as time went on, it seemed as if it was just almost me and my son in Bear Mountain at the house with Tom. I can't remember the young man's first name, but his last name is Rivera. He mobilized a lot of situations to get me to Bear Mountain. Also gave me the opportunity to work under Tom. The whole time I'm thinking he's a good person. This man is setting me up with under the table jobs to help me pay my bills. The jobs end up not paying me through Tom, through the young man he was working with and for. And a lot of red flags came up, but once again, I'm away from my home in Lehigh Valley. I'm stuck up in Bear Mountain. I've got Shaka on the phone with me literally every day, 3 or 4 times a day, keeping tabs on what I'm doing, what I'm learning, what we're doing. I'm helping them sell organization shirts through Facebook. Didn't receive anything from it. I was also sent on a trip to Indianapolis, Indiana, and told that I was supposed to write a speech for Black August, in which I did. I was also prevented. Tom tried to prevent me from going on the trip, tried to make me miss the flight deliberately, because I refused sexual harassment. I refused him touching me, touching my leg, touching my arms, always finding a way to joke with me, trying to get me to rub his back because he's an old man and his body hurts. We had emergencies with him at the hospital, had to take him to the hospital overnight for 3 or 4 hours because he has half a heart, health issues. So I was basically a maid, a nurse, a cook. I was everything under the sun while I was in Bear Mountain. I was literally stuck.
Did you have transportation?
Absolutely stranded there. I was absolutely stranded there. Absolutely. In real life, it felt like almost a situation like the movie Get Out. Like I knew I didn't belong there. Trailer homes, up about 2.5 hours later. My son's in the back. This is the first time I get to lay eyes on my son again for a couple of days after that house, painting that freaking house and taking down wallpaper. Never got paid once again. Never got paid for moving all that stuff into that truck and never got paid for picking up that truck. Tom is the one who had to put gas in that truck to get it to Allentown before we could even get it to New York. So boom, I left with no money. I came with no money. My whole purpose to go take that trip was to work my ass off to make money under the table so that I can go pay my bills because everything was getting shut off and I was about to get kicked out. Tom's main goal was to let that happen so that I would be stranded in Bear Mountain as his help, AKA fucking slave. That's what the fuck I was. I was a slave. I was being treated as a slave. I was being starved at certain point in times. I was being programmed with rewards, such as, cigarettes, or maybe even for me and my son to eat. I'm doing inventory, gotta paint. I'm lacking sleep. This motherfucker is preaching to us almost dang 24 hours a day. Like, it was so bad. I was lacking so much sleep. My nutrition was super low. I was just weak all over, just all the way around weak. I had a friend yes?
Let me ask you this. Okay, during the time all of this is going on, this is around, from what you had previously explained to me, 2017. At that time, I was confined in Florida. And also, Shaka was locked up when you said he was calling like daily. Were there any efforts made to bring your situation to the attention of other people as to how you were being sexually harassed by Tom, the sexual advances, the denial of payment, and all of this? Did you bring that to others' attention? And did you attempt
I brought that to Lena's attention. I brought it to Lena's attention. She said it was nothing and waved it off. I told Tom's sister. She said, oh, you act like he's trying to molest you or something. I told her I felt like I was being kidnapped and that these people refused to take me home. Like, it was always an excuse. Oh, Tom's sick today. The sun is too high today. He can't drive under that condition. The sister has a car. She's like, oh, you act like he's trying to kidnap you. I mean, it was just like a movie. It was like, you ain't shit and your needs are not going to be met and you don't matter and it's not that big a deal. They were gaslighting the hell out of me. It's like you're telling somebody that's guilty of something on another person that's just as guilty as them. So what help are you really going to get? Right? So Tom acted as if he was going to help me with the complaint with the whole truck, me being locked in the truck and my womanly coming on while I was doing the job. He was acting like he was helping me. He typed up all kind of letters, supposedly for everybody, including Shaka, to see. They visibly kicked Rivera out of the group. He made it seem as if they were doing something about it, only so that he could single me out and have me by myself once Rivera was gone so he could sexually harass me. And so that I'd be too weak to go to anyone. You understand? Like, it was all a ploy. All of it was a ploy. Shaka knew about all this. Shaka didn't want to jump up off his ass. Right. Shaka didn't want to jump off his ass until I literally let him know. I've been here for about 4, 5, 6 days straight, bro. My bills is outstanding. I haven't gotten paid for about 2, 3 jobs that I've done. I'm about to slit this old man's fucking throat. I'm about to take this nigga's car and go back to Bethlehem. I said, and I'm going to fuck around and lose my son in the process. I said, I'm going to kill this old man, bro. If you don't do something about this shit, I'm going to kill this old man. I kid you not, I don't know what the fuck Shaka told him on the phone. He told me to pass him my phone. Tom is talking to Shaka on my phone. I don't know what the fuck they were saying in secret, bro. But I promise you, the first stop, Tom took me to the motherfucking bank, the same place he said he didn't know how to work the goddamn card so he couldn't get my money. The whole month that I was working for these fucking people. From the shirts all the way to the painting to doing the painting at Tom's sister's house. My son took on a job. He got paid by Tom's sister to paint. It was that serious. I needed that money. When I told this man that I was going to slit Tom's throat to get out of Bear Mountain, I promise you, Tom took me straight to the bank and that same cash card he act like he didn't know how to use. This motherfucker at least got me $300. Payment for all the painting that I fucking did. The only one out of all the work that I put in that paid me was Tom's sister. But yet she was just as guilty as them because she was covering up for his weird fucking molester type of pedophile, weird sexually charged ways. She was acting like her brother was not like this. Mind you, like I said, I got to threaten a motherfucker life and let it be known like I'm human. I got a home. I got people who love me. Motherfuckers that miss me and my son, you got me fucked up. Like I'm not about to keep being here in Bear Mountain. So either you're going to take me home willingly or I got to force this shit and I'm going to slit this old man's throat and I'm going to take care about me babysitting Tom so he doesn't die, so he can publish that book. Mind you, I was the one going back and forth to the post office with Tom to publish these bits and pieces of chapters of these books for these people, Shaka and Tom. Okay? So the second time, Tom doesn't want to take me back home. Oh, it's too hot. I feel like I'm about to pass out. He takes us to a fair. And instead of having his, instead of like walking on his own, he acted handicapped this whole entire day. The whole entire day. And I'm pushing him over rocks and up hills and all kind of shit. We're sweating, we're hungry, we're thirsty. No money, no more food stamps, no food. So Tom would buy things at a stand here and there to eat or drink, and we'd share it, right? Just enough for us to thrive. But I'm fucking in the hot summer pushing this man around this fucking fair. I'm sick of it. By the time we get back to the house, I'm exhausted. And so I'm texting my friend and I'm like, yo, tomorrow, come get me. He's like, what's going on? I was like, I don't know, but this motherfucker acting like he don't want to take me home. Come get me. He says, all right. So by the time he gets to the house, Tom is furious because there's a stranger, number one. Number two, it's a black man. And now I'm realizing, oh, wow, you don't like black people, period. You just want to use these black women so you can fuck on them and rape them type shit. So he was very disrespectful. He wasn't his usual self with my friend at all. And basically he kind of wanted to know, like, how did he get here? And I'm like, yo, I told him to come pick me up. Basically, it was like my friend had to do slave labor in order to get me back to Bethlehem. He somehow bartered him to cut his lawn. He had my friend cutting his grass in order to let me go back to Bethlehem. Like it was some slavery shit. Like the whole shit, it was like a really bad, like
roping you in front of your son. How old was your son at the time that this was going on? And did it have an effect on him?
Hell yeah. Yes. It had an effect on my son. My son was 10 years old. He was 10 years old at the time when it happened. Well, 9 turning 10. And my son would look at me like, Mom, you just gonna let this white man touch you? Like my son was confused. My son was completely confused by the organization and what it stood for after he witnessed this happening with his mom. He was confused in my position. He was confused in what I stood for, if I was going to sit there and let that shit happen. He was confused to why, as I let certain things happen for a certain amount of time, my son became a little bit more bitter. My son does not believe in God anymore. He's an atheist now. It took a lot of innocence. Whatever innocence my son had in him is gone because of this.